I don't know why, but that song is the jam. It's like licensed music. There's nothing special about it, but when the bass hits, it goes whoom. I don't know why I like that song so much. It continues. Let's see if the bass hits one more time. Whoom. There it was. I imagine none of you are listening on like high fidelity speakers. You're probably all on a phone. You know what? Put that in the chat, by the way. What are you watching this stream on right now? Are you watching on a phone? Are you watching on a computer? Are you watching on an Apple TV? Caker Girl wants elevator music? Sorry, I gotta let the beat drop here. It's what they do in radio a lot of times. It's called ducking. It's where when you talk, the music goes down, and then as soon as you're done talking, and as soon as you start talking again, it comes back down when you're done. Riding the levels. Aaron's on the phone. Sharks Fangirl's on the phone. Felix is watching on the laptop. Burger Alpha is watching this live stream on the Samsung fridge. Are you serious? I mean, I like 5 years ago, I'd call you out on that, but you might be serious. That does seem like something Samsung would make, is a LCD on the fridge that could live stream YouTube. It's classic. There's the faders right there. See, there's me right there, adjusting the levels. There's Howard Terminal. Joey, hello. Alden's doing some house cleaning. Oh, some late night house cleaning. Appreciate you joining, bud. Laura's watching on the television. Wow, you're about to see Brazil on the big screen. I'm assuming you have a big screen. Dun, 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 dun. Someone, what it says, in before somebody comes in here claiming they're watching on their Tesla touchscreen while going autopilot. It won't let you do that, right? It won't let you watch YouTube while you're driving. I think. I think. Ooh, thoughts on the Sharks trading Mikey Eyssimont. Yeah, we'll get into that. We will definitely get into that. It's such a cool shot right there. Which one do we want to end on? Do we want to come in the studio live? Let's just do that. I got the live chat going down there. Keeping my eye on the clock. I've got the baby monitor going over there. I'm all set for this live stream. By the way, it's cold outside. I had to like button up coming in here. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. This is Q&A. I appreciate you for being here. I'm eventually going to fade all this music out. We'll see what everybody wants to talk about. You know, I was going to do phone calls tonight, but I just know what happens. Like every time I do phone calls, I go for an hour and a half longer than I meant to, so. Oh, Burger Alpha is not actually watching on the Samsung fridge. See, but you do probably have a Samsung fridge. I'm jealous of that. We've got an old clunker. Ours is from the previous owner of the house. I'm gonna guess 2000, like early 2000s. It's probably 23 years old. Do I think Bonino or James Reimer will be traded? Boy, we are here in the final hours before the deadline on March 3rd. And I don't think that's out of the question. And I mean, I've been saying James Reimer for a long time remained attractive. And look, ultimate compliment to Rhymes. I don't know that he's a team's starting netminder. Like the reason that a playoff team would be in that spot is because they have somebody good. But just like when he came to San Jose in 2016 as Martin Jones's backup back then. That's why we loved him. He was so solid, so serviceable in that role. And I always said, You know what, James Reimer at that point is kind of like the ripcord. Well, maybe like the second ripcord. If you need him, and if something happened to Jones in that magical season going all the way to the Stanley Cup final, if something happened to Jones, it was great insurance to know that, oh, James Reimer is chilling in the shadows there waiting to go. Plus, he gave Martin Jones a huge rest down the stretch. So look, I'm here to pump James Reimer's tires. I don't think stats reflect at all how well he played this season, what he's capable of. I mean, and look, Kakinen's playing better as of late too. There's no question about it. He had a pretty good February. But James Reimer has a bigger body of work and with more teams. And honestly, he's never really had like a full season to be the guy over and over. He's never had like a 70 start season like Nabby used to pull off year after year. But I just think Reimer is valuable definitely as a rental to a team. I don't know what that commands in return, but I'm saying it in the case of James Reimer. He would get the opportunity. He could bring something back to San Jose. Might all work out. Same thing, I think, for Nick Bonino. I don't know, and just looking at the trades that have already been made. I mean, Matt Nieto was dealt weeks ago. And I'm not saying that, like, Colorado wanted Nieto specifically or didn't talk about Bonino or, I'm just looking at comparable players. They do different things, but comparable players. So the fact that Bonino hasn't already gone, I don't know. And the same thing with Reimer. I expected him to probably move already. It's been a weird deadline, hasn't it? I mean, what's going to be left for March 3rd? Honestly, there's not going to be, I don't think, a huge deadline push because all the big moves have already been made with days to spare. This year has been such a drastic departure from what the NHL used to be. It used to be everybody held their cards really close to their chest, and then the day of the deadline, everybody's like, here you go, take all my cards. It's kind of crazy. So I really don't know. If you're asking, Merrick the Shark, if you're asking those guys specifically, I think there's a chance. I think there's a possibility, and there's a couple other names in the Sharks too. Look, I know they've got Nico Sturm for a couple years, but that's why another team would value a Nico Sturm on their clubs. Honestly, even Mikey Eyssimont, the way he came in, I'm not surprised other teams had their eyes on him and were like, whoa, what a steal that was by the Sharks. Picking him up on waivers. He played on the top line. He was productive. He was energetic. So now he's going to get a chance elsewhere. So stay tuned for sure. But this deadline has been very hard to predict based on the fact that so many things have already happened days in advance. What does that mean for the moves that you think are possible but haven't been made yet? Let's see here. Sorry, sometimes I get so involved in one question, then there's 50 other ones I miss. I've got to do a better job. Who's trying to help with linear algebra? Burger Alpha, you need some help? Hit me with a question. Let me see if I can help you. I can't do that. I mean, I'll try. But don't you kids have YouTube? Wait, you're on YouTube right now. What are we talking about here? Can't you get tutoring on YouTube? Can't you get all the answers you need? Why don't you go ask Chat GPT? Is that what it is? You know what I was thinking? I was thinking about doing a live stream here. Maybe I might do it tonight where I pull up Chat GPT and I ask it a bunch of Sharks questions and I ask it a bunch of Oakland A's questions. No offense to this live chat. I'm digging this live chat, but I might go chat with Chat GPT a little bit later on. I literally just found out what it was a couple days ago. JT, your birthday's in 10 days. Well, congratulations and happy birthday in advance. I hope you're going to have a good one. Just doing some college and watching you stream. Good. Best of luck to you, Caker Girl. Oh, and I'm sorry. Your avatar is still Timo Meyer. You want to talk about it? You probably do want to talk about it. Feel free to say what you need to say. Thoughts on the Sharks trading Mikey Eyssimont? Just amazing how it happened. Picked up off waivers. You're wondering, okay, well, how's this going to work? What is this player going to provide? Next thing you know, a couple games later, he's on the top line with Logan Couture. And it took him a while to get going, with the points and first goal, but just played with energy and kind of belonged. And you're wondering, like, what is the statement that one of our top line wingers was picked up off waivers. How many teams can ever say that? I wish him the best. I don't know about the transaction, if it was just procedural. I don't know what the Sharks' overall or long-term intentions are with that move, but certainly wish Mikey Eyssimont the best. One of those weird situations where they got some value out of something that maybe you didn't even know existed. And that's why you give players a chance. You really do. You have to. The ones that you like, right? You never know what sometimes a change of scenery, a change of role, an opportunity are going to present. All right, let's see what else. Oh, yeah, skipped a bunch of comments. Nice offensive outburst from the A's today. Yeah, was it a 17-17 game? Did I see that correctly? And the other part about it, I want to read a tweet here from San Francisco Chronicle reporter Matt Kawahara. He says, I take it back. This game ended in a 14-14 tie. The A's and Reds combined for 29 hits and 16 walks. Here's the best part. It was over in 3 hours and 16 minutes. Now, I replied with, sorry, baseball purists, but the game needs this. And a bunch of people thought, well, the game needs ties? You're endorsing ties? I'm like, no. I'm endorsing the pace of that game. To have 28 runs, a billion hits, and to do it all in 3 hours and 16 minutes, that's usually like a 9-inning 2-1 game back in the day. So the pitch clock, whatever we're calling it, the pace clock, I guess we'll come up with the official name, or is it a timer? People don't like the word even clock in baseball. It is a clock, but I've been watching it. I saw the live stream, was it 2 days ago? Yesterday with the A's game. They were playing at home in Mesa, and it keeps the game moving. That clock keeps the game on a good pace, and it keeps every at-bat like a little bit on the edge of your seat. Look, baseball's meant to be a relaxing sport. And honestly, from the player perspective, baseball's meant to be like, however long it takes today, we're here to do a job. We'll finish when the job is finished. Players look at it that way. They never want to rush it, but I'm sorry. You have to look at this from the viability standpoint of baseball to the modern fan. I don't know that the modern fan with technology and options and choices, I don't know if somebody's paying attention to even 50% of a 3-hour and 42-minute game. Not maybe 50%, maybe 20%, maybe 10%. Maybe they're watching for 30 or 40 minutes of 3 hours and 40 minutes, and that's it. And maybe they're only watching once every couple days. And they're disinterested. And it's hard to really follow a baseball team and a season when you're just watching small chunks here and there. Now, I do realize people are checking out highlights and they're following on social platforms. So it's not like they're distanced from it. But if you can't really soak it up and enjoy it and watch it unfold live, and it just takes too long. I did the math probably a couple months ago about the pace of games. And if you add up the hours of games for every team in a season, right? Like I should say each team in a season. If your favorite team was a 30-minute sitcom, it translates to like 1,000 episodes of watching sitcoms for every baseball season. So if a new season of Ted Lasso came out, let's go Ted Lasso, and there were 1,000 episodes to sift through. First off, my wife would love it. And I mean, look, so would I. Let's be honest. Who wouldn't love more than just this final season of Ted Lasso? But I digress. But 1,000 episodes year after year, you'd never make it through. It's a lot. Now, we're not here to say play less games. We're not here to say play less innings. We're not here to do that. We're just here to say, when you step in the batter's box, be ready to hit. And when you're on the mound getting your signs, be ready to throw the baseball in a specified amount of time. And there could still be a little bit of the cat and mouse game and the who's ready, I'm ready, there can still be a little bit of that. But my goodness, like the game needs this so bad. And I'll tell you this, final thought on this. It's a trip that baseball within the last 5 years has put a courtesy runner on second base in extra innings and now has a clock for pitchers to deliver the baseball. I mean, think about all the, I'm only 40, 41, almost 42, but I can only take it back to the 80s, 90s, 2000s. None of those decades would have ever tolerated this. It just goes to show you, baseball does realize that its customers, its fan base is going to be better tuned for this. They're not experimenting with this. They know exactly what is needed here and what they need to do. So I wish them the best with it. Nate Doggy was loving the intro music. Do you want to bring it back? Should I just have it chilling here in the background the entire time? You want to just see more scenic shots? I guess the broadcast doesn't start soon anymore. We're already on, but yeah, I love these shots. I love beginning the live stream with this. And I've selected the music on purpose. It's all, I don't know, kind of upbeat stuff. When I put this little compilation of clips together, I tried to do Bay Area stuff. Like, look, there's, I don't know, is that off 101? Wherever there's an exit for Capitol Expressway and Tully Road. That might be 101 in San Jose. I can't picture exactly where that's at. I think it's about, oh no, I thought it was about to loop. I don't know where that's at. That might actually be Los Angeles. I get all these clips from a source. But anyway, yeah, I always like kind of starting off the live streams like this. Good old Bay Bridge. I'll be crossed it yesterday. I'll be crossing it again tomorrow. Eli the Wolf. Congrats, Marlowe, on the jersey retirement. Thornton and Owen Nolan should be next to have their jersey retired by the Sharks. I'll tell you what's easy and then what's difficult. What's easy is who goes next. Jumbo, right? Like Patty and Jumbo. They are literally like stepbrothers, you know, like with the movie with Will Ferrell. But I don't know who you do next. How if you go Owen Nolan, who else does it open the door up to? And look, this is not something against Owen. I'm not saying it's like for Nolan. I mean, of course, I love Owen, but it's not. I'll say it's for or against. What I'm saying is, it's complicated. It's kind of like, I'll tell you what it's like. Any of you who have gotten married and you know your venue only seats or can hold 200 people or 100 people or 20 people, but you're inevitably going to have 25% more people than you actually can invite. So like, where do you draw the line of like, how do we do this? And so if you put 11 up there for Owen Nolan, then who else kind of falls in his same category and goes next? Which is fine if there is another player and if that's what you want to do. I'm just saying what's easy about Patty is you know another player who's near identical to him, Jumbo. So that's easy. But I think the hard part is what comes next after that. And then because of whoever's next, what comes after him, right? So that, and maybe it's not hard. Maybe it's fun and interesting. Maybe I'm saying, oh, it's hard, but maybe it's fun and interesting. So, but yeah, I mean, look, I would love to see some more names and banners up there. And I would love to have another night like that for a couple more players. I just don't know how and when and where and who you do next. Well, after Jumbo. So, but Eli, I think that's a great observation. Drew Remenda is the GOAT. I'd have to agree with that. And JZ34, I've got to tell you, recently I look at Drew and say, that's even a different Drew than who I remember working with 10 years ago, like last decade. And even Drew from 10 years before that when I was just watching Sharks games. I wasn't working them. And when I say a different Drew, I feel like just a little more settled in, a little more casual, comfortable. Drew was a fiery dude, and he still is. But I mean, he told me this a couple years ago when he rejoined us. He's like, I'm a grandpa now. I'm a little more soft around the edges. I'm the same guy, and you know what? I was like, no, you're the same old guy. And then I realized I think he actually is a little bit. I don't want to say the word soft. He might, if he sees this, he might interpret it the wrong way. It's not soft. Actually, if either of his sons watch this, they might be watching this. D&D, you guys on here? I got to see them the other night at the Patty Marleau jersey retirement. But no, Drew Remenda is the GOAT. I'm just here to say what's cool about it is Drew has like even evolved another step. And I'm so happy to have him back with Hetty and Randy. Can we not change that for like the rest of time? Can we? Randy just got to 2,000 games. It's funny. Curtis was like, "Oh, what are you going to get? What are you going to end up at 2,500?" I'm like, 2,500? That's only 500 more. I need Randy for another 2,000 games. Be a lot of years, but you understand what I'm saying. I love that team. I love that group. I hope we get them for a very, very long time. Jonathan Santiago says the A's are going to be better than last year's team. I fully agree. I have an interview with Nick Allen that you'll soon see here on this YouTube channel. We talked about just that, and he's one of the players that got called up last year in a really disjointed time. I mean, you're only called up because, well, quite honestly, we just got rid of Chapman and Olsen and Bassett and Minaya, and Frankie Montas is about to get traded, and then eventually Sean Murphy's going to get traded, and didn't keep Mark Canha, Starling Marte. Anyway, long story short, it was such a disjointed situation last year, but there was opportunity, and guys like Shea Langoliers and Nick Allen, and I know Christian Pache didn't exactly establish and settle in the way he wanted to, but everybody got, well, I shouldn't say everybody. Most players, a lot of players got a little bit of a taste of Major League Baseball through the course of a full season, and I just know going into this upcoming year, I'm guaranteeing you right now, the A's will be better than last season. Well, that's an easy one for me to say. They've only lost 100 games twice in Oakland history. Once was 1979, once was last year. So odds are it's not going to happen in 2 years in a row. The only question for me is, how much better will they be? Are they 10 wins better? So like they had 60 wins last year, 60 and 102. Are they 10? Are they a 70-win team? Because honestly, if you're 15 wins better, you're flirting with a 500 season. That's going to happen for this group. That's going to happen for this team. I don't know if that happens this year or next year. I think by next year, if they keep building the right direction, if players pan out and mature as expected, I think next year, like 2024, just based on the way things are going, could be the flirting with 500 season, if not for this year. I mean, look, let's recall 2017. Halfway through the year, Olsen and Chapman get called up, and all of a sudden the team, puts on a little push. Olsen hits a ton of homers, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, okay, this kind of, throwaway season turned into something interesting at the end. Well, we don't have that exactly right now, but maybe we get that out of the gate this year. And then 2018, the A's went from, how many did they win in 17? I don't even know. Were they 500? I'm not even sure. They went to winning 97 games in 2018 and 2019 and the equivalent of 97 games in 2020. So I know they're going to be better based on experience and development and confidence and a fresh slate. I know that for sure. I don't know. I think the only question about the A's is how much better. And they've got good pitching. They've got young pitching. They've got a lot of tall pitchers too. My goodness. I think the average height of their pitching staff, like starters and bullpen, is probably like 6'2". There's not a lot of people my height that throw baseballs for the Oakland A's. Also, that Bedard kid ain't half bad, eh? So I just did a video on this. You'll see it tomorrow here on the channel. Do you realize that the Sharks are only 2 points away from last place in the NHL? Do you also realize that even if they finish last, they only have a 25.5% chance of getting the top pick? Whoever finishes last in the league this season only has a 25.5% chance. That's crazy, right? When you think about, the idea of tanking. And no, I gotta do this disclaimer every single time. The idea of tanking only exists for fans. Tanking does not exist if you're a player. Tanking definitely does not exist if you're a coach. If you're one of them, you're playing for your livelihood, your next contract, for pride, for all that you know, for the competitive spirit inside you. No player or coach is ever going to do that. Now, a front office might align their team so that, like the Sharks are doing right now, they've got to make the best moves for the future. And if that costs them right now in the present, then it does. It's not a bad time to cost you if it's also going to pay you off at some point. But again, I'm not even suggesting that from the Sharks as a team. Look, that's the whole thing. A 25% chance, even if you finish dead last. So there's no guarantees, even if you do get that final spot, even if you are below Columbus. You may not get Connor Bedard anyway. Then what? So you really can't be focused on that prize. You really can't say, well, that's what we're positioning to, is to finish last. You can't do that. If this were a 60% chance of the number one pick by finishing last, okay, then it's a little bit maybe more, entertaining. You know what? Let me pull this up here. I'm Googling here, Tankathon NHL lottery. Yeah, here's exactly the page I wanted to pull this up. Oh no, actually, this is not it. I take it back. Let me just try this. NHL lottery odds. Yeah, there we go. This is what I was looking for. So this really, I'll make it bigger for everybody. This really spells it out here. So if you are Columbus right now, last in the league, 25.5% chance that you get the number one pick. Then it goes down to 13%. I thought it was 18. It's actually 13%. For second to last, 11. So right now the Sharks have about a 10% chance at getting the number one pick. That's not great, but honestly, that's still only about half of the last place team. You cannot position for this and think, well, that's automatic. That is far from automatic. I guess I'd like to see it a little bit better rewarded if you finish last, but I think the league was very particular about protecting itself from somebody tanking on purpose. So, but yeah, Connor Bedard is going to change probably some franchise. And I got to tell you, maybe as we get closer to this season ending and the thought of the draft and the thought of the lottery, and just watching Patty get his jersey retired the other night, like the Sharks need a next something special. We had something special for all those years with Patty and Joe and playoff pushes and contention annually. Right now, as of today, Carlson's having a great season, but it's just not something like special surrounding the team. And Connor Bedard coming here would be special now, wouldn't it? So that's how I feel about that. Reed was asking, about how many games will the A's win? So, again, they won 60 last year. So, really hard to peg right now. That's the thing I don't know. Maybe 65, 70. Maybe you're right. That's an improvement. That's the 10 games maybe we're talking about. Really, you want to get to the 20-game mark. You want to get to your 81 and 81. And, that's watching the A's go through this cycle. This happens. They're going to have a 500 something, 500 first half, 500 season. That happened I guess it didn't happen really 12, 13, 14. But it definitely, 17, I think they were trying to get back to 500 before they went off in 18, 19, and 20. And 21 for the most part. All right, let's see what we're doing here. Noah's wondering, when do I think Eklund and Bordelot get called up? Oh, just made a video on that earlier tonight. You'll see it tomorrow here on the channel. That's one of my big questions down the stretch here for the Sharks. Will any Barracuda get called up to the NHL? Literally this season, Nick Cicek on occasion, but only because the team needed him in that role. CJ Cease, same thing. Mike Grier has really held firm on, we're not going to call you up until we need you or you're absolutely overripe or the situation demands it. He's stuck to his word. He's kind of stuck to his position on that. So Does the trade deadline mean anything? Does passing the trade deadline mean anything? And if you did bring Eklund and Bordelot up for the final, we have 21 games remaining as of right now. If you did bring them up for the final 15, what are you hoping to get out of them? End of their hockey season on a team that's been struggling. It's a shell of the group they used to be, right? I mean, they don't have Timo, and I shouldn't say a shell of the team, but a couple players have departed. Like, they've gone through some things. If you bring these guys up, what's the goal? More experience? Eklund had those 9 games. I think Bordelot had, 8, 9 games, 10 games at the end of last year. And they are among the team leaders in point production for the Barracuda this year. Having good seasons. But I said this on the video you'll see tomorrow. I would not be surprised if they get called up. But I would equally be not surprised if they stay where they're at the rest of this season. So I really don't know. When you say, when do you think? I don't even know that they will. And you know what? Selfishly, for them and for me, I'd love to see him. Come on up. Let's do this. Let's get excited about something again. Man, you know what else I just realized? We just talked Bedard, and we got Eklund and Bordelot and Bedard. Ooh. Okay. I don't want to go too far down that road. I'm a person who'd rather stay pessimistic and then be pleasantly surprised. Expect nothing, receive everything. Is that a saying? Well, anyway. See what else we got here. Chris saying, hi, Brody. I was recently in town for the Kraken Sharks game a couple weeks ago, and I have to say, SAP is a great arena. Can't wait to visit again in July for you're going to the Sounders and Quakes match. You're going to like PayPal Stadium, too. Right by the airport. Intimate, small, well done. A couple times I've been there. It's never been a problem to get in or out of that facility. I mean, it's not the best, there's traffic here and there, but yeah, it's a good place to go. But as for the tank, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean, it still is. And look, I know attendance has been rough and the environment hasn't been the same and the results certainly haven't been the same. Gosh, they've got 6 home wins right now. They may not even get to 10 home wins by the end of this season, which is crazy. But the tank is still the platform for the Sharks to have a great home and have a great home ice advantage, and for the fans to really get loud and do their thing. It's a smaller arena by NHL standards. You go around the league, and there are some cavernous buildings. L.A., Denver, Chicago's just big. It gets loud. I'm not saying Chicago fans are not, boisterous, but it's just a big building. I'm trying to think of some others that are just really... I haven't been to the new one in Detroit. I imagine that's spacious. But what I'm saying with that is Dallas, also a big building. SAP Center, it really does feel like that second deck is more on top of you. And it can provide such the home ice advantage when it's doing its thing. And I hope people don't lose sight of it that, although it's been a rough couple years and you kind of do acclimate to recency. Right? It's like recency bias, maybe, where, the crowds haven't been good and SAP Center's different and this is how we know it now. And it's not always going to be like this, I promise you. And it's also, it's dumb to forget what it's capable of, and what that environment is capable. Like I said, it's a very good platform for hockey in our community, and obviously for the hockey team in our community. Hang on a second. Let me... Had to hit the old cough button there. I'm glad I have that here, by the way. We don't even have that in our studio at work. I can't do that. We just don't have the button for it. But we do on the broadcast, by the way. Does it blow your mind that Jonathan Quick will no longer be backstopping the Kings? Yeah. Well, I should say this, Felix. Yes and no. I swear to you, it was about a month ago. Curtis and I were talking, and maybe it was were the Sharks playing the Kings. I think that might have been it. And I'm looking at them across the way and saying, okay, Todd McClellan's their coach, Rob Blake's their GM. They're rebuilding the right way. They've got some young, exciting players. They've made some good moves, but as of recently, not long ago, Dustin Brown still there. Anshay Kopitar still there. Drew Doughty's still there. Jonathan Quick still there. They've kept some of their pillars and rebuilt around those pillars. Now, that's kind of what the Sharks seemingly are aiming to do. You've got Logan, you've got Vlasic, you've got Carlson on a long-term deal, Tomas Hertl on a long-term deal. So, that's the way it's structured as of right now, is to rebuild around some pillars. But anyway, I was surprised that some of those guys survived in Los Angeles, that they survived the overhaul. And I'll tell you, most surprising is a goalie. Usually that's the easy one, right? Because goalies are a trendy thing, and who's the hot hand? And Jonathan Quick, I don't know the contract he signed. I'm thinking it was of a long duration and a pretty high dollar amount. So you would have thought this would have happened a long time ago. But because it didn't, then you're surprised because, it finally did happen. And I thought a lot of Kings fans were even caught off guard by this. Obviously, they're kind of stacked at that position right now, so maybe Quick is not as needed as he once was. But yeah, after how many years? More than a dozen years, it's a true changing of the guard in Los Angeles in not having his presence. So I heard a couple things. I heard he took the team flight last night after finding out he was traded. Oh, wow. Wow. And then I also heard that, Columbus was already planning on saying, look, we understand you're not going to want to be here. We'll try and move you. It's tight. The deadline's going to be tight here. We'll try and move you. And maybe they'll move him in the offseason too. But that might mean he's going to have to stick out the final quarter of this season in Ohio. All right. Jeff Merritt called the Eastern Conference the Eastern Octagon. With how much a bloodbath the playoffs will be in the East. Oh, my goodness. Felix, highly do not recommend using ChatGPT with homework, LOL. Are professors finding out that people are doing that and it's writing papers for people and stuff? I know there's a big reaction to this, probably mostly among adults who are like, oh man, computers again are, they're ruining kids. And I don't know. Look, it probably could have been said the same way when the internet came out and it was more than just Microsoft Encarta. Remember putting that CD-ROM in your Pentium processor? It's crazy. It's crazy that I remembered Pentium processor. Yeah, I don't think, it's funny now you mentioned ChatGPT. I really want to go do this. I don't think this is going to be a problem. The ChatGPT thing and doing people's they'll find out a way so that you still have to produce your own work. They'll figure it out. Maybe Reimer gets traded to Toronto to reunite with Luke Shen and play backup for the Stanley Cup winner. Oh, you're calling the Leafs the winner. Leafs have a first-round pick from Boston. Oh, maybe Bonino and Reimer for a first-round pick. Yeah, and we were talking about those two before. Okay. Burger Alpha has given me, was this algebra? Was this trigonometry? I don't even know. Given a subspace, A, B, C, D, A minus 3 times B plus 2 to find a basis. I'm going to find a basis. Let me see. Let me just do some math here. Carry the 2, add in this, and and I put it on the screen. What a dummy. Gosh, I can't even live stream anymore. I'm so dumb. Hang on a second. I just realized that I got my soundboard off. Okay, here's what I was trying to do. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I'm sorry, Burger. I knew you were going to stump me with. Yeah, and again, what is that? Is that algebra? I know you said before what it is. Find a basis. What are we even trying to find there? A, B, C, and D? A? But we don't even have D on there. You know, I always said, okay, little rant here for a second, a quick one. I always said that when I went through college, and I had not a good attention span, but stuff like a math problem like this would make me say, close the book, I'm out of here. Not good. But I always thought, you know what, if I were 40 years old, I would have more patience and I'd be better at figuring these things out. I would have a more mature approach. And I do believe that is the case. I really do. And I think that some of the things that are thrown at you in college to learn, just so you can get a degree, and it's just all so procedural, and like, why am I, future, broadcaster, why do I need to be taking an advanced trigonometry class or a statistics class that just blew my socks off? Like, it was hard. And I get it. Everybody should be well-rounded, but it seems so pointless. In reverse, yeah. I think education is going to change greatly, but hopefully, Burger Alpha, you're going to do something with that education and degree that you'll be deserving of. I can't find your basis though. Sorry, but I will tell you, you're probably young, college student. This stuff, if you reapproach it later in life, it'll be easier. And it's just like my wife told me that the brain doesn't even fully mature and fully develop until you're 25. So quit trying to do the hard stuff when you're not even fully developed yet. All right. Oh, I saw something about, I saw a good A's comment here. Oh, MM Forever. Thanks for being on the Super Chat. I really do appreciate that. And by the way, every contribution here on the Super Chat and on the channel, it goes right back into the channel, which, by the way, struggled a little bit recently because a huge Joe Thornton, Patty Marlowe video that I had got removed because it violated something that I can't figure out at all. It was from the ceremony the other night. What? Yeah, anyway, I don't want to get in even more trouble. When will Dave Cavill give an update on the Las Vegas Oakland move? So the A's are playing games in Las Vegas this weekend as part of the Big League Weekend Series. Are they playing against Cleveland? Who are they playing? I totally forgot. No, who are they playing actually? I don't even know. No, not Cleveland. I don't even know. I don't know if he'll take that opportunity to show up in Las Vegas to answer some questions with the local media there. I really don't. I don't think he has offered a comment. I don't even remember the last one, to be quite frank with you. I don't even remember the last interview I did with Dave Cavill. I'll look forward to the next one, but I don't know when that opportunity is going to present itself. I also want to let you know that I have personally reached out to the mayor's office of Oakland now on multiple occasions, and I've yet to hear back. And I talked to Shang Tao in October. We had a really good chat. I mean, it's here on my YouTube channel. At the very end of the chat, I said, "Hey, can I count on you to, communicate with us further and answer?" Absolutely. She was very open to it. No, she's busier now and she's in a different spot now. I don't know why she's hard to reach all of a sudden. I'm going to try maybe a different avenue on this in the near future. I think she'll still talk, but she's doing other interviews, but maybe not specific to Howard Terminal. Maybe she's avoiding that for some reason. So I don't know, but honestly, yeah, not a lot of people are talking on this topic. So I'm talking on this topic, I guess. I saw a good A's, something I wanted to talk about here. Oh my gosh, I missed so many. Oh yeah. Tyler Soderstrom and Butler making a great impression. I totally agree. That's the thing about the A's. Quick thing, and then I'll let it go. There's going to be some players that you'll know this year, and I think Shea Langoliers is due to have a good year. Just let the bat come around. The defense is going to be there. He's a great defensive catcher. But I think there's also a next wave of players that were, and Denzel Clark's another one. I think he was he in A-ball last year? Double A, I think. So there is another wave even coming beyond this first push that you're going to see. That's my whole point on that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Would you endorse the end of shootouts in favor of more entertaining overtimes again? Absolutely. I would extend the overtime period another 3 minutes. Now, here's the pushback you're going to get from that. Star players are basically in the 5 minutes of OT, like nearly the entire time. You're obviously 3-on-3, but you really only have like 3 or maybe 4 trios to send out there. So you're down to 12 players. Realistically, you're down to your top 9 players. Sometimes only 6 players really get in there for a healthy chunk of time of those 5 minutes. And it's nonstop. It's back and forth. There's so much skating. It's open ice. I just think that the shootout was such a novelty to get rid of tie games. And the NHL at that point, they needed to get rid of tie games. It just wasn't working. And shootouts were supposed to be exciting. And it was the one-on-one aspect. But it's honestly like a dunk contest. The more years this carries on, the more you realize that one team got 2 points, another team got 1 point based on a skills competition. We didn't even watch hockey did not decide the result anymore. Think about that. When you watch a shootout, are you watching a hockey game conclude, or did the game already end and now you're watching a skills showcase? It's a skills showcase. That's what it is. I'm over the shootout. Yeah. Now, I would love to see OTs go a little bit longer, but what if even 8 minutes of OT could not produce you a result? Then what do you do? Or do you just say, hey, here's 20 minutes of 3-on-3. Knock your socks off. I just think that, you know, the PA, the NHL PA is going to look out for its star players and say, well, wait a second. You've had somebody already skate, 24 minutes, 25, a defenseman, close to 30 minutes maybe in a night, and now you want them to play 3-on-3 for another 8, 10, and they're going to log another 7-6 minutes of ice time. It's the star players. That's what the fans are going to want. That's what I want as a broadcaster. That's what I want as a fan. I don't know. I don't know who likes the shootout. Who comes to a game and says, I hope we see a shootout tonight. I really would like to see that. Now, granted, if you've got a Connor McDavid getting a shot chance, or there are known commodities that are like they're showstoppers in the shootout. But does anybody go to see a goalie in a shootout? They're like, oh, I really want to see Kaapo Kähkönen in the shootout tonight. That's what I'm hoping to see. What? What you do want to see is, a 2-on-1 rush going this way, great save, and they go the other way, great save, and they come back this way and they score. Like, that's what you came to see. And that's what you get in overtime. So, yes, if you're going to remove the shootout, definitely extending 3-on-3 longer gives you more chance to end the game. It's kind of like baseball, putting a runner on second to start every half inning after the 9th. You still might have a 14th inning, but honestly, in the last couple of years, I don't think we've seen a 12th, 9th. You get into the 10th, maybe sometimes into the 11th. I don't know that the A's who I cover, I don't know if we've hit a 12th inning since 2019. So I would definitely endorse it, but we got to figure out a way that overtime can't go. You got to put a cap. You have to put a cap on overtime if you're going to end the shootout. You got to figure out what to do next. All right, let's see what else we got here. Timothy, the Henderson Goats bobblehead team are working on adding, the captain Sal Bando, but they've already got 2 third basemen. So who do we cut? Xavi or Carney? Oh, man. Can we cut Donaldson? Do you have a Brett Laurie to cut also? I can't answer that question. That's like the F, Marry, Kill game. Yeah, I can't do that. No. I like Xavi and I like Carney. I guess I knew Carney first. So, what does that mean? Can we keep him? I don't know. That's tough though, right? That's a good history of third baseman for the Oakland A's. And not to mention, Chappie, a couple others on that list. Donaldson during his short time. A couple others too. Scott Brocious. Hey-yo. Let's see what else we got here. Let's just, how about we chill with a little bit of music while I figure out what's next here. Should I load up Chat GPT? I see a lot of people in the chat talking to each other. I'm like, should I jump in on that? Let's do this one here. It was good to see Chloe on retirement day. We need another Ryan Clough. Yeah, they don't make them like they used to, I think, with Ryan Clough. He's definitely special. Thank you, Sonic the Chili Dog. I try to be the man. How could I be the man when you're the man? How do I think JJ Bleday will fit in with the team? I don't know T-Swag Diddy. Sorry, I don't know how to do the head thing there. I don't know that he'll be up to start this season. There's so much competition in the outfield. I know he's a Vanderbilt guy because Tony Kemp would not remind me of that. But I think with Bleday, here's the thing, the Bleday puck trade, you just had 2 first-round picks that were not totally panning out like either franchise was hoping for. And so they said, here, both of you, try a change of scenery. You take this pitcher, you take this hitter, we'll see what happens. So I think overall, Tony Kemp has told me, watch this guy, he'll be good. Just got to figure out the offense, figure that part out. Let's see here. Are the A's closer to Howard Terminal or the Las Vegas Strip? Should I do this? Should I say this now or should I do a video on it? I'll tell you, East Bay, the thing that I'll just tell you briefly and then I'll elaborate on it at a different time in a different video. What makes me nervous this time of year, and I'm saying next year's baseball schedule has not been determined. It's not out. It's not all been orchestrated yet. If something in Las Vegas was imminent, you can get it done. Here it is. Here's a deal. No EIR, but we're going to do this. And that happens in the next 2 months, March or April or even May. The A's could theoretically take the Aviators ballpark, Las Vegas ballpark, and say, okay, we're moving there to start next season. I know it's only 10,000 seats. Maybe they can expand. I know they can expand it another 7,000, 8,000 pretty easily. I think the big concern would be that if something in Las Vegas popped up overnight and it was rock solid, that you could be facing the last season of A's baseball in Oakland right now. I'm saying that and I'm getting weird feelings, but it's true. We're in that kind of danger zone of timing of a calendar year. Now, by June, July, August, the next year's schedule is going to come out, and Major League Baseball can't plan for, you're going to be where? You're going to be playing in Las Vegas, not Oakland. So that all has to be taken into consideration. There's a lot of other things that would need approvals, and major league teams would have to vote on it. But, part of their plan could and would be, hey, we've got this locked in, locked down. We're going to do it. Both sides agree. We're also going to move our team starting next year out to Summerlin, which is, by the way, where they're going to play this weekend. It's a possibility. It's when I say that, it's a haul to pull that all off and make it happen. But I also think, at some point, if the A's were to eventually ever move to Las Vegas, why would you ever want to spend any time after you announce that in Oakland? You're asking for, I don't want to say trouble, but it's just that's a really bad situation. Not to make light of a couple splitting, but that's splitting and then even like after the divorce, still living together for a while, which I mean, it's fine for people who can agree to do it. But in this case, I don't think it's a good idea. But this would offer them the opportunity to like literally be gone before you even know it. But again, they would still be playing the rest of this season. This season's happening in Oakland. What I'm saying is next season, in these next couple months, if something were to middle of the night come across and be a done deal, can things happen that fast? I don't know. But, that's always a realistic possibility. That was a realistic possibility 2 seasons ago. Was that 2 years ago when I asked Dave Kaval that very question? I think that was in a June game, in a June month. Is it a possibility that even next year could be soon enough that you could flip that stadium and move down there on a temporary basis, knowing that you'd have something else built? I should have explained that better. The A's could move to Las Vegas the ballpark as a temporary setup for something else they'd be doing down the road. So, yeah, these next couple months, you're in that window of possibility for a scenario like that. And it's a sobering thought, but it's definitely something that I feel responsible to pass along. Oh, they won 75 in 2017. That's right. I remember they were close. They were flirting with 500. Yeah, I saw Butler down there at spring, and he was always on an upbeat mood. I was like, this dude's got some energy. He's got a vibe. This dude is a vibe. I was kind of enjoying that. Didn't we trade Burnsy so we could sign Timo? You still look at where the Sharks are at under the salary cap, and it's been tight. Let me say this. Trading Timo Meier was a twofold operation, and we've only seen part one of it. Part one of it was to get Timo somewhere else, get something back for his value. And the Sharks did that as it relates to some young players and a couple draft picks. And also, obviously, Scott Harrington was part of the deal, and some of the Sharks' own young players and a draft pick were part of that. But the real thing now is, what do they do with the $10 million that were on the books this year that will not be next year? And I'm not even saying they have to do something with that $10 million, but it's now an option for them. What does $10 million get you? Does it get you a player at 3 and 4 and 3? Does it get you 3 different players that might be something productive? Does it get you a 6 player and a 4 player? Or does it get you another $10 million player? I don't know. But that's the real, for me, and that's the reason that they're so upset they couldn't keep Timo. Are you just searching? Are you going to go out there and search for the next Timo Meier? Yeah, probably you are. But that's the hard part, is that he earned the payday, a qualifying offer for him for next year. Why do I keep saying $10 million? If the Sharks were to keep him next year, they would have had to have offered at least $10 million for 1 year. So they're not doing that now. So what are they going to do with that $10 million that now opens up below that hard cap? The NHL is it's so difficult, and it's so different than other sports. Baseball, you want to go over, you go over, and you pay a little luxury tax. Hockey, no chance. This is your upper limit. And credit to the Sharks, even during tough times, they're near the upper limit, and they're not afraid to go there over and over again. But the question is, how can they make the right players all fit under the current salary cap, which also has not escalated. For a while, it was going up a couple million every year. Then I think it was $1 million. I don't know if has it been set for next year already? But they don't project it to go up a whole lot year after year. And again, the second part of trading Timo Meier, now what do you do with the opportunity it provided you, right? You got some players, you got some picks, but also what do you do with the space that you created? Oh, Luis, come on. Connor Bedard, whoever drafts him, and it's impossible to project this, but realistically, I know you're joking. But, is Bedard like McDavid and Crosby? and Ovechkin, where it's like, oh, thank you. We will now keep you for the rest of your career. Whatever team gets him. Might be that way. Steven would love to see Eyssimont. Would have loved to have seen him. Look, it was a cool story. Picked him up off waivers. Did well here. Energetic player. I liked what he brought to the table. I guess I also understand that, they're trying to cash in on some of that value. So totally get it. Brody's keyboard ASMR. Do you just want keyboard? I can't really move the mic here. I'll stop. So I use, by the way, I love this keyboard. This is a Keychron. I think it's a K2. I got this right before the world shut down, actually. I don't know if I can say the P word on my stream and not get in trouble. Now I'm worried about YouTube, everything. But I got this, and I was looking for a good mechanical keyboard. Man, I love, and I think this has brown switches in it, not blue are the real clicky ones. But here, I'll type something for you. There you go. What did I just type? I said, hello, I'm going to type some things here for you and put them in the chat. There's your keyboard ASMR. And now I lost my spot. What else do we have? In the shootout, make it a continuous 10-minute 3-on-3. Yeah, I mean, be nice. I appreciate you being back in the super chat. I really do. Is it conceivable Dave Kaval will go silent all season? Could be. I mean, I think, I think knowing the overall timeline of this, and, baseball's kind of set a hard deadline. There's a deadline in the CBA for revenue sharing for the A's that kicks in January of 2024. I probably not. I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. I really don't. It's his and their strategy of what to say and when to talk about it. And, I don't know. I guess it's possible, but I would say this unlikely, but possible. But what do I know? I mean, I don't know what the situation is also going to present too. What developments happen and what don't. Something was compliments of ChatGPT. Oh, wait a second. Oh, wait a second. So back to the 80s, you used ChatGPT to figure out that earlier math question, didn't you? Oh, here we go. Oh, it was linear algebra. This problem took you so long. Oh, and for the fun of it, I threw it into ChatGPT and it crashed. Oh, but then back to the 80s goes, oh, here's your answer. Straight from ChatGPT. Compliments of ChatGPT. Oh, it's not against the Cleveland Guardians. It's against the Reds. Yeah, that's just, I knew it was an Ohio team for the Las Vegas weekend. Let's see what else we got here. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm behind here. Matthew Hunter is ready for the World Baseball Classic. I've warmed up to that a little bit more. The World Baseball Classic, I think when it came out, it was like gimmick, total gimmick, just an attempt at a money-making machine and a branding thing. But I'm really starting to see and enjoy that, baseball can celebrate its globalism a little bit. Look, most players are from North America, and that's a historical context. But really, to have like the DR with a team and a really damn good team, and Puerto Rico with a really damn good, and Japan's obviously in there. You get baseball in Europe, and it's just so spotty. I think that's the hard part. Is this really ever going to get much bigger country-wise than it already is. And did I see that the Czech, they have a team, but like literally none of them are actually professional baseball players. They're just like really as good as it gets from the Czech. So look, I mean, interesting. Is it a long-term, like, is this going to be something that people, clamor for in years? Is it every couple years? I know the pandemic probably, I said it, probably pushed it back a year or two, but Eric Sogard is on Team Czech? Is that right, Juju? Oh, no kidding. Well, what would be cool to see your reaction? I don't know to what. I see what you said. Thank you for being on the super chat, Juju. I really appreciate that. Have you seen Talkin' Baseball's A's prediction video? I have not. But if you tell me how to get there, I'll take a look at it. The World Baseball Classic. I'm liking the idea more and more as we go on. That's probably the best way to put it. It's not something at first that I thought was going to last the test of time. And honestly, like I said before, is it going to expand even more? Well, can it even get bigger than where it is right now? Maybe, probably not though. So it needs a little bit of evolution. It may need a better like center stage. It's at a good time of year, right? Because basketball and hockey are winding down, but they're not in the playoffs yet. You literally have no sport that's like at the critical part of their season. And you're basically only sharing this with the NBA final stretch and the NHL final stretch. There's no Super Bowl to compete with, no football at all really to compete with. I just don't know. Matthew saying, do you see my other comment earlier? No, I did. You know what, Matthew? I skipped a bunch of them. I apologize for that. Brody, we need more former player interviews like you would do during 2020. I appreciate you remembering that, Miguel. Obviously, I was here in the home studio. I had not really built out the home studio yet. That would be so much easier now than how it used to be when I had like the little iPad over here. It was very primitive back then. Sorry, I was just looking at the monitor. Looks like my son might be waking up here, and I might be putting the live stream on pause for a few minutes. I'm gonna prepare for that just in case it happens and I need to make a quick exit here. Hang on a second. How do I do this? So look, just in case this happens, I've got this ready to go. Or it's like, please stand by. But no, I think we're good. I thought that was a false. I think that was a false alarm there. Okay. Do I think the A's can afford Papa? Greg Papa? What do we need Greg Papa for? The new A's social media is pretty fun. Oh, like the new Oakland. Is that what you're saying? Everybody's talking about the new Oakland? I think that's what you're talking about. I heard that was kind of coined in the last couple days. Did Martine have that in an article? I kind of heard a little bit around it. Oh, you pasted the link. Awesome. I'll check it out. I'll just search for it too. It's true. Papa is a legend. He already had his time with the A's though. He's too busy doing touchdown San Francisco. Felix says not related at all to sports, but this Sunday, second to last episode of The Last of Us on HBO Max. What a show it's been. I've heard about it. My wife and I, we just finished binging a series, so I would say in the next couple nights, we'll be looking for something new. I will put that on the short list. We need some easy watching. It doesn't sound like that's easy watching. The Last of Us. We just came off... we watched Fleischman is in Trouble. It was heavy. Relationships, divorce, kid stuff, like stuff that's in our life, the time of life. 42 almost. So, see what else we got here. You love Papa. Hey, Papa's been great to me, honestly. I've got nothing to say about the Bay Area's Ron Burgundy of sports. Is this an A's or a Sharks meeting? It's whatever you want it to be, Scott. This is just live Q&A. Throw whatever you want up at the screen. I'm good for whatever you want to discuss here. Oh no, we have not been watching The Last of Us. We were watching Fleischman is in Trouble. And then what did we watch before that? Oh, the new Ted Lasso start. Yeah, March 15th, I think, or 13th, or something like that. I'm excited for that. No pressure, by the way, but that's going to have to be a huge final season. How are we handling the storm up here? Well, rained. Gosh, I keep looking up at Mount Diablo. There's tons of snow up there. We're fine. Nothing was like New Year's Eve. That New Year's Eve day, or New Year's Eve day flooding. Oh my goodness, around where I live. Oh, it was not good. Some people's houses are still getting construction done on it to repair all the water damage. Oh, I didn't know that. Puck is still not pitched, huh? A knee injury. Man, AJ Puck cannot catch a break. There's a South Park drop tonight. Have you been watching South Park lately? It's actually really good. It's getting better. The social commentary is on point. I've not. It's amazing longevity, though. I mean, and look, South Park and like The Simpsons, totally different. I get it. But the fact that they have evolved and lasted as long as they have, I think that alone is pretty impressive. I don't even know what the commentary you're talking about is, or I don't even know what they're all about anymore. I really don't. Just amazing that they're still in existence. Yari, appreciate you being here. I feel like I'd say it's been a while, but that's probably only because I haven't live streamed in a while. I wanted to say thank you personally for the amazing ceremony on Saturday. Your coverage was absolutely lights out, and especially since Marlo is your all-time favorite player. That was a core memory created. You know what? I really appreciate you saying that, and I mean, thank you for pushing it my way. I was just honored to be a part of it. That was a night where everything was like hitting on all cylinders. The ceremony, the different shots our crew was able to get, the videos they played, the timing of it all. And yeah, I know Patty's speech went like 30 minutes. It was supposed to go like 10, but whatever. He deserved it. I didn't want to rush anything. I wanted to soak that moment in as long as possible. But everybody who showed up, former teammates, and it was one of those nights where just, even production-wise, you expect something wrong to happen, like a mic has feedback for a second, or a video doesn't play on time, or there were so many moving parts. But I've got to tell you, from the Sharks production end, from the NBC Sports production end, our people, and I have a list of names. At some point, I just like to read them just to give everybody individually credit. But from the directors and the producers to the technical directors to the video playback professionals, to the camera people, to the audio people, to the lighting people, up and down the list. There's probably 50 people that would need to be recognized, quite honestly, that were like really hands-on with it. Way more that were required, but 50 people who were directly hands-on in that result. And it was a privilege to help bring that on television. Our pregame show was like 2 hours and 40 something minutes. But it flew by. It absolutely flew by. And then the part where we had Jumbo and Heater and Nabby and Chloe up on the set, and then Patty eventually up on the set, I greatly thank the Sharks for, coordinating with us to bring them up there, to help the broadcast and really just bring it that extra layer. It was awesome. But thank you for saying that. I really do appreciate you saying that. It was, for me, I've got a lot of top Sharks moments. Game 7, Round 1, 2019, or getting past the Western Final in 2016 to ultimately know that we'd be covering a Stanley Cup Final in 2016, or my first season covering the Sharks. There's a lot of personal things I'll never forget about being associated with this team. But this past Saturday night, I was trying to figure it out. You know, for me, like nights at the Tank is top 5 for sure. I think it's probably top 3. I don't know. You tell me what you guys all think. Is it top what? Top what? That night was top something. Top what is the question? Hey, Brody, what do you think about the Sharks now? I know we talked in the beginning of the season and thought they were going to be better. You know, I had estimated that not enough of the wow moves and change had taken place. If I said that though, that I was getting a feeling like they were going to build in the right direction. The change of scenery alone just wasn't enough for this current group to do a little bit better. Uh-oh. Now my son is waking up. So with that said, I will be right back. Hang with me. And we're back. Oh. Whew. That was a lot. Quick oil change and tune-up and back to bed. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with me on that. Baker girl. You good, Broads? Where is it here? I'm good now. Of course I wash my hands. Like twice. Yeah, it's like my re-entrance music. Hello, Jenny. I thought it was going to be a quick one, and then he didn't go back to sleep very easy, so. I did. 100%. I always do. So, I actually am pretty particular about washing my hands a lot. I made it back. I decided I'll probably do just another 10, 15 minutes here. I apologize for making everybody wait, but didn't see that one coming. Thank you, Caker Girl. My wife is sleeping. This is my couple hour stretch. I just can't go to bed until before, I just got to stay up body clock until like midnight, so. I know you probably know Timo a little bit more on a personal level. What is one of your favorite things about him or something that really stood out to you about him? It's a great question. I mean, he obviously had past tense. He's got an immense sense of style. He could kind of, he wasn't all so serious. I think he had a look as if he were serious all the time, but he's not. I don't know. That's a really good question, Care Girl. I guess my thing is, I don't have a good enough answer. You need a perfect answer. I've only got decent answers. I'll tell you what is pretty cool, though, is I remember covering him and doing interviews with him when he was on the Barracuda. And probably start of 16. That's right, because he didn't debut until December of 16. Yeah, I just think that the ascent for him was probably the coolest part, and watching him turn into 40 goal scorer in the NHL. He'll get it. I really hope he does. I like this one right here. This should be quick. Lil Broads, nope, we're gonna cut it close to midnight. I thought it was gonna be quick. I'm still watching him here to make sure he stays asleep now. Who am I gonna do A's post-game live with? Dave Stewart, Bip Roberts, Shooty Babbitt. What does obtaining Nemestikov mean? And they retain 50% of his salary. I just think that maybe the Sharks couldn't. Well, no, they could fit him. Now they have Timo off the books. No, but the Sharks retain some of Timo. That's right. I don't know what it means. I honestly don't know what it means. He's on this 1-year deal, right? Do not know what it means. I think the Sharks maybe just wanted a more veteran player to finish out the season. Don't really know for sure, to tell you the truth. Just exactly what did I ask? What are we have a side convo here? What's going on here? Doesn't have to be perfect. Just wanted to know more about Timo off the ice. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that there was any one thing that stood out. I mean, his personality is pretty reserved, but he's not, he's not boring by any means. He kind of a slick sense of humor. Kind of in the way Pavelski has a slick sense of humor. It doesn't, maybe it's not always apparent. Like, you don't look at him and go, oh, that's a jokester, but he's got, he's a funny guy. Carlson is staying, right? I think at this point, Jenny, I think he's got to. I think this would have been a move for a week ago or even prior to that. Again, this is pure instinct. Who really has the answer until until Friday. No, Friday's March 3rd, until Friday rolls around. I really don't know. My gut tells me absolutely. I think he's staying at this point. He kind of even said the other day that nobody's asked me to waive my no trade, so it'd be kind of weird if that happened last minute here. I think, and I've thought this all season, that Karlsson would more likely be part of a trade in the offseason in a team that may look at their overall situation and say, okay, we're going to go for it, and this is how we're going to start. Or, may not be a contender that needs him, because a contender already typically has a salary cap that's pretty tight to begin with. And he obviously, the Sharks would have to retain a lot. Even still at this point, there's a quarter of the season left. They'd have to retain a fair amount to get him onto most teams. I think it's more of an off-season likely transaction than it is an in-season one for Karlsson this year. That's my feeling on it. And I think that might, I think also, can you kind of start seeing that Karlsson is, I don't want to say motivated to move on, but he understands kind of the writing on the wall. And maybe to a certain degree, he's looking forward to that. The Sharks are in a process. I think he said something the other day. It's unfortunate about where the Sharks are at and where he's at in his career. And by that, he just means only getting older, only has a handful more shots at this, to really, I know he's under contract for however many more years, but I think he's looking, he doesn't have 15 more years in the league, or probably 10 years in the league. Doesn't have it. So how many more cracks does he get at this? Steven, vote for A's post-show vote. Well, it's kind of an issue that he's the Mariners bullpen coach, isn't it? Just a little bit. I was hoping for that. By the way, check out other videos here on my channel. I did talk to him a couple weeks ago about the new opportunity. He's stoked. I'm stoked for him. Yeah, of course I wish you were a broadcaster for the A's. Good take, Broads. I'm trying to give you the best I got here. It's like Greer's dumping talent. Well, no, I mean, you have to. To dump salary, you have to dump talent. And to get something back in return, you have to give up something. And I feel that there was even a little bit of kickback on dealing Mikey Eyssimont away. Now, I don't know the return with Nemestikov. I don't know the long-term plan or solution or the real true purpose on that one. Maybe it's part of something else too. I don't know. But you have to get something back, or to shed cap space or to shed salary cap, you've got to, or to shed salary, I should say, you've got to give up talent. Dump salary for what? Well, the cap is a hard cap. You can't go over it. And at last check, well, I mean, you want to look it up now? Let me do that here. Just give me 1 second to pull this bad boy up here. Almost did Cap Geek. I'm an old school guy, but it's cap friendly. All right, let's pull this up here. Here's all the recent trades, but I think we can just go to teams. San Jose Sharks. No, I don't want that. Get out of there. So right now, sitting on, stop playing this video. Look at that projected cap space, $124,000. 48 out of 50 total contracts used. I thought they were almost going to exceed it the other day when they brought everybody else in on that deal. It just goes to show you. I mean, they're literally right up against the cap right there. Was there something else here I wanted to look at down below? Oh, it goes into draft picks, moves, injuries, all that stuff. Oh, I also saw that, Šimek. Did Šimek go back on the IR as of today? Did I also see that? But anyway, that's the point. I mean, and if you bring back Timo Meier, get out of here, video. I don't want to get in copyright problems. Whoops. I guess what I don't know is how they're going to spend that. I mean, you clear that space for next year. You were going to owe Timo $10 million. Now you don't. So what do you do with that $10 million that's officially off the books starting next year? Keep talking about San Jose. I see that in the comments. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of that. Speaking of salary, MLB needs a salary floor. Bad. Well, I'll tell you this, Miguel. I don't disagree with that sentiment. Baseball's different, though, in that some of the teams, I made a video on this recently. In fact, you should check it out on my channel. I think I called it What Teams Spend versus What They Get. If you look at Major League Baseball last season and the top spenders and then correlate it to where they finished or how many wins they had, there were a lot of high-paying teams that ended up terribly record-wise. But then there were some of the lowest-spending teams. A lot of them finished low, but some of them finished quite well. There's a middle ground of like top 10 and bottom 10 spenders that a lot of times end up on opposite sides of the spectrum. There are some teams in the bottom 10 spenders that end up as some of the top teams. And then there are some of the top 10 teams that end up on the very bottom of the standings. So spending versus, that's what I should have titled that video, spending versus standings. It is, well, it's kind of Moneyball, but, you know, that's more of a, like Moneyball doesn't, that's like an era and then you flip them. So Moneyball really gives you like a 3-year window to do something, right? Look at the A's, 12, 13, 14, do something. 18, 19, 20, 21, do something. Until you have to flip it again. You can't be a Moneyball team for like 8 years in a row. It just doesn't work that way because you don't re-sign people. That's the point of it. Uncle Brody, would you like to do coverage for the Warriors? If the opportunity ever presented itself, the biggest challenge is that I do hockey. And hockey season is at the same time as the NBA season. But if for whatever reason I was uninvited to hockey anymore, of course, I would be intrigued by it. I've always loved the Warriors. I don't care if they aren't good again in five years. Like I'll always have a special place for them. So I know when I first started watching your channel, the only thing I talked about was Timo. But I feel like I kind of matured. I try not to only talk about him. No, it did not get annoying. That's it. Everybody's got a thing, Caker Girl. You know, that's the thing. Everybody's got a thing. And you're known for your things. So that's nothing wrong with that, you know? I don't even call it a quirk. It's a thing. It's not even a quirk. It's just part of who you are. All right. So I said I was going to do 10 more minutes, and I'm just running out of gas now. What time is it? Where are we at here? Let me pull up my special clock here. Is it ready? Is it ready? Not yet. There it is. It is 11:47 p.m. Here from Studio 6B at my house. It's pretty much, it's 11. There you go. 11:47. Might be time to call it a night. You think it's even possible for me to meet him one day and just chat hockey? Yeah, go out to New Jersey. Actually, he's going to have to come back out to San Jose at some point and clean up his house. Pack things up. Might be a little suspicious to meet him like that, but 247 in Georgia. Matthew, thank you for hanging in there. My goodness. Is the mayor of Oakland really serious about keeping the team in Oakland? I think Shang Tao understands the magnitude of keeping versus losing them. I just hope that it all works out. I got to talk to her soon. I really do. We're overdue for a chat. No doubt on that. All right. I'm going to see if this is the right one. I believe it is the right one. It's the right video I'm going to dip into here. I do appreciate everybody for being here. I did see that too. Townie said there would be some good news to be announced in March. I'm waiting for it. I'm sure he is too. Why are you salty? Salty, your questions won't be answered? Why are you salty? All right. Good night. I ran out of. If you had joined earlier, I was a little bit more responsive and spunky. Can you please read my comment about Nashville? I missed it. If you type it in here quick, I can probably get to it. Oh, I see it here. I take it back. How close? See Nashville and MLB after the A's in Tampa Bay? Yes. Okay, there's a lot of things going on here. I do see baseball expanding, definitely to Nashville, maybe even to Las Vegas once the A's and Tampa get their situation sorted. I think, like, literally as soon as those two teams are squared away, I think baseball expands. 2 more teams. I do like the new rules. I like the pitch clock. I talked about that earlier. Baseball needed that pace. And I think the next couple of years, no check swing. I don't know what you mean by that. I would hope that you can't really get away from the check swing. You're always going to have it. You're saying call it a strike every time? I don't know if you could do that either. So, Chris, thank you for being here. Same thing, Caker Girl. Must be trouble. I appreciate you. Al M, I appreciate you. Yeah, save your video game. Question for next time. Thanks a lot, Felix. Jenny, always good to see your name in there. Randy, thank you. Miguel, glad you were here. Yari, I'll talk to you soon, buddy. Be well. All right. In the words of Tomas Hertel, fun must be always. In the words of Brody Brazil, good night. I will see you tomorrow on Sharks Postgame Live. Pre-game live. Oops. Yeah. Pre-game before postgame. Dummy.